How do I graph and write equations of lines in slope-intercept and point-slope form? Slope-intercept form. That's your y equals mx plus b, right? Where the m is. The m is the slope, isn't it? And where the b sits represents the y-intercept. That's where the line hits the y-axis. So if you're given your m is -5 and your b is 4, then your equation is going to be y equals -5x plus 4. Your graph, all you need to do for your graph, guys, is just draw an xy axis. Put the y-intercept on it. The y-intercept in this case is at 4, so put a point at 4. And then you're going to rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're going to run 1 to the left because it's got a negative slope. And then just connect those points. Say that again. They may give you the m as 1/3, and they'll tell you that they're just going to give you a point, all right, and ask you to write an equation and graph it. So say this is 0, -2. But if you think about 0, -2, what's the y-intercept? -2, isn't it? It's just another way of giving you the y-intercept. So this equation is y equals 1/3 x, and the y-intercept is -2. So here's your graph. Here, x-axis, y-axis, and we're going to put a -2 on the y-axis. And then put a point on it. How many are we going to rise? 1. How many are you going to run? Which way? To the right. So 1, and then 1, 2, 3. Put your other point. You can do it again if you want. Go 1 and 1, 2, 3. Put your other point. There's your 3 points, and there's your line. Everybody all right with that? Isn't that fun?
Graphing lines is my favorite.
Me too. I love graphing lines. Yeah. Couldn't wait to teach this lesson today. Been looking forward to it for 2 weeks. All right, point slope form. Point slope form. All right, point slope form is y minus your y value equals the slope. and then the letter x minus your x value.
Wait, what? Those just cancel each other off.
No. Here, this is the slope, right? These are the coordinates. Coordinates of the given point. Coordinates of the given point. Notice they have minuses in front of them. Now focus right here. The minus in front of it means it's the letter x and then it's the opposite of the x value given. It's the letter y and the opposite of the y value given. Okay? Slope goes between the equal sign and the parentheses. So, if you are given m equals 2, all right, and you're given a point, 4, 3, okay, point slope form is y minus your y1 equals slope times x minus your x1. So here's how you write an equation of this information in point slope form. It is y, and now we write the opposite of the y value. What's the opposite of the y value? Negative 3 equals. What's the slope? 2. Left parenthesis and the letter x. And now we're going to write the opposite of the x value given. Negative 4. Good. That's point slope form. Given a point, you're given a slope, you can write it in point slope form. Now there's two ways to graph it. The easiest way to graph it is just to plot the point and count the slope, right? So if you plot this point, the point that's on the line is 4, 3. So you go to 4, 3 and put a point. You're going to rise 1, 2 and run 1. Rise 1, 2 and run 1. There's your line.
Why would you use that?
What's the point in using that formula then?
What's that?
What's the point of using that formula over slope?
I don't care.
You're not given the y-intercept here. How are you going to write it in slope-intercept form?
Y-intercept is 2.
What's that?
No,
Oh,
the x value has to be
okay.
0.
Slope is 2.
Oh, I get it. We can find out the y is
You like
How would you find out the y-intercept?
3-ish.
You'd find the point, you'd keep going to the line.
You just draw the line and keep drawing it down there until it hit the y-axis, right? Does that sound very efficient and accurate and/or accurate? Could you do the distributive property right here and say that y minus 3 equals 2x minus 8? And then could you add 3 to each side? And y equals 2x minus 5? And then where does it hit the y-axis? Negative 5. Okay. You're eventually going to be asked to write equations of lines that are perpendicular, that are parallel, that go through a point, or that intersect at a certain point. So having the understanding how to write equations in point slope form and slope intercept form be very beneficial down the road. Any questions on writing it in point slope form and then graphing it? One more in point slope form. Let's take you get your m, and your m is negative 2/3, and your point is negative 3, negative 3, 1. So your equation in point slope form is the letter y, and then the opposite of your y that's given. So it's y minus 1 equals negative 2/3, parentheses, letter x. What's going to go in here? Plus 3. Very good. So that's it in point slope form. When you graph it, let's see, negative 3, 1. Your point's at negative 3 and positive 1, so your point is right here. From that point, how many are you going to rise? Rise 2 and run. Which way? 1, 2, 3 to the left. Rise 2, run 1, 2, 3 to the left. Connect the dots. Got it? Questions? Open your workbooks, please.